Hi, I'm Spiky. Welcome to my clinic. Now, who are you and what do you do for a living?
So I'm Gustavo, or my name is Gustavo. I'm coming from Portugal, and I've been working with young people for around 20 years. A big part of it, I was working as a youth worker in projects in the suburbs of the area of Lisbon, so mostly like the poor areas around the city of Lisbon, and working with different themes in these projects. Always projects like short-time projects that then needed to they might continue or not. So I was always like jumping from project to project and from geographical areas. Then I made a bit of a break from youth work, and lately, in the last 3 4 years, I became a trainer in the area of youth work for the Portuguese National Agency.
What makes you a professional dreamer and what do you like about it?
I think what makes me a professional dreamer, most of all, is that I was always driven for this idea of improving society. It was with me since early days, I would say, even as a child. And the reason, and this drive to change society, and knowing that or realizing that I could not do it by myself, and actually entering youth work was a bit random. It was basically because I've got an invitation from a friend, and it made total sense to me at the time. And I started working, and I found that I really loved it. The possibility to support others and to support communities, to become better, or at least to try to become better and achieve the place that they aspire to be. This was basically my drive to become a youth worker. I never planned to become a youth worker per se. It was not in my mind since the beginning, but this idea of trying to produce change, to produce a positive impact in the world, was always present in my life. So that is my drive, I would say.
What challenges have you faced as a youth worker?
As a youth worker, I have faced many challenges in my life. Some of them good, some of them bad, or I would not say that they were good or bad. Like some of them, they had like positive impact on me. Others, a negative impact that I tried to transform into a positive impact. I would say that mostly never having enough money to produce more impact on my work, to deliver a better practice, better projects, to produce a more impactful change. This was always like a big thing. There are challenges that come from the youth itself, and mostly I was working with youth that usually, regarding their behavior, they can be more challenging. But for me, that was not never a problem. And actually, I always felt bigger problems with the adults, and a lot, some of them, even my colleagues and people in the area where I've worked. Where I come from, I feel that there's a very conservative perspective about youth work and working with young people, and a lot of the times I feel that it's more based on the professional ego, in the sense that it's more based on the needs of the project and on the needs of the population, on the needs of people. Some of the times, this is not exactly also a problem that comes with the people that are working in the area, but it's something that shapes them, because the structures of funding also define a bit the goals. And then if you want to work, you kind of have to adapt to where the money is coming from. So you end up doing the work according not to the needs of the populations, but according to the needs that are defined by someone at some point, that they are valid, but maybe at the moment they are not the most important ones. So this is also like one of the big challenges, trying to, you know, cross this. And mostly the thing with the funding, not enough money, and having like colliding wishes between the people that you work for and the people that provide the money. So this is one of the biggest challenges.
What does burnout mean for you? Give some examples.
Well, regarding burnout, I think it's like being extremely tired of something. I felt it in my life when I spoke before about this period where I was a bit distant from working with young people, is because I felt also in connection with what I answered before. I got tired of keep giving, and the people that I was working for, they gave me what I needed from my work, which was to be there and to be available and to welcome me into their lives. But then I always felt that, or at some point, and with the passing of the years, I felt that what I was doing was not that relevant, and I felt that it was affecting me and my um, passion to do things, which for me it's very important, not just to work because of the money, but mostly to work because you believe in what you do and you believe that what you do is relevant and impactful and produces change. So once I felt that I was actually not achieving this, I start to get extremely tired and a bit depressed even about the situation, and I felt that I needed to move away for a bit.
If burnout was a dragon, how would you describe it?
I would say that by now it's kind of a friendly dragon. It's like a persistent dragon. It's once you know the conditions that you have to work with, you kind of accept them. So it's this process of acceptance that it's been there for so long that, and it doesn't depend on you. You can try to tackle it and to change it, but it doesn't mean necessarily that it's going to change by itself. So you kind of accept that things are what they are, and you learn how to live with this dragon. So a persistent and fairly friendly uh, character with whom you have highs and lows.
Okay. Whoops. Sorry. How did burnout impact your life and how did you deal with it?
I think I already kind of talked about the impact of burnout in my life. So it was at this point that I felt that I really needed to stop. It was kind of half of the decision was mine, half of the decision was also made from the market, because I thought like, okay, and from now on I will only apply to projects that I feel that they're really good, and there were not that many. And so instead of just applying for anything, I started to apply for the things that I thought that really mattered for me. And it became a passion of mine, like to work in the environmental area, but then my profile was not exactly suitable for it. So it was kind of like this decision: if it's to do the usual stuff that I'm doing, I don't want to do it. If it's to do something slightly different with this project that to me seems attractive, I want to do it. So it was kind of like a semi decision of myself and also the market. So I needed to go away. The impact when I moved away, it was good for some time because I felt that a bit of relieved that I didn't have to deal with a lot of the things that I had to deal with. But then in the end, it was still my passion. So I was still away from my passion and still suffering from for not seeing a change and to know that this passion of mine was somehow damaged, or the focus of my passion was damaged and there was nothing I could do for it. So I was like kind of suffering at the distance, but it was easier to deal with. Um, so yeah, this was also, I would say the impact was kind of like losing a bit my faith, not my passion exactly, but a bit of my faith um, on the potential impact of my work. But as I also said before, it's a bit like accepting that this is what you can get. Although this acceptance doesn't mean that I have gave up on my ideals or on wanting to do better and always trying to do better. So I guess pretty much this was the impact.
What did you learn from your experience?
I think I've been talking about like what I've learned from my experience. Mostly, I think I became more resilient, and that you also need to take care of yourself and protect yourself from the things that affect you in a negative way, and they will always be there. Um, of course, just by knowing it doesn't mean that it becomes comfortable and nice and pleasant. It's just it is what it is, and I think this is what I've learned a bit. It was losing some of my naivety and become a bit more cynical about things. So I would say that's pretty much
Now, if you could send a message to your younger self, what would you say to help them prevent burnout?
I am not sure I would send any message to make things different. Um, I'm not sure that if I would send a message to make things different, maybe I don't know. It would be like don't get in touch with this part of your life. It won't bring you money or like some like mental health, I would say. Um, and at the same time, I keep saying like I like what I do. I really like what I do, and I love to every time that I'm working with young people, what they give to me, and this is all that I ever wanted from my work is to feel that the people that I work with are happy with the support that I give to them, with what I provide to them, and this is the most important thing. So if I would have to send like a specific message, like I don't know, like I really don't. I think like never give up and prepare yourself because it's going to be harder than you think. And not that I didn't know that it was going to be hard. I think that sometimes you are caught up in the curve, and after a while, you just feel the effect, this effect of things you never expect. You expect always to be very strong and to be able to manage things, and at some point, maybe you will feel affected by the situation.